Welcome to this sacred journey, where we open our hearts to divine light and embrace the eternal wisdom of the Spirit. Selected 1. Your recent success and appearance have left others in awe, and the glow you exude has caused them to speak in ways that are pending their entire world. You are seeing creative energy coming through you like lightning through a rod. This is not an accident or lucky streak. The electromagnetic shift of your elevation is felt by every soul that comes into contact with you. It strikes them like a spiritual freight train they never anticipated, yet can't take their eyes off. The murmurs began weeks or months ago, but they have since grown into a scream of recognition that follows you everywhere. People are observing everything you do, breaking down your social media posts frame by frame, and attempting to figure out the formula that has led to your drastic change. They fail to realize that there is no course, habit, or investment that can purchase, teach, or duplicate what they are seeing. People are being shaken to their very core by the effects of the Creator's overtime efforts on your metamorphosis, which are making them reevaluate their entire conception of beauty, transformation, and divine favor. This change you're going through now is only the beginning of something much bigger that will happen soon. The cosmos has been preparing you for a degree of influence and magnetism that will fundamentally alter not only your life, but also the lives of everyone you come into contact with. Like storm clouds accumulating on the horizon, the signs have been mounting. Before lightning hits, the energy has been building up like electricity. Now, the whole power of your awakening is about to reach a level of intensity that will make it clear what position you have chosen. Ever since they saw how you changed, that ex-lover, who has been hovering around you like a ghost looking for atonement, has been having restless nights. What began as lighthearted social media monitoring has turned into a compulsive behavior that takes up all of their free time. With the diligence of a detective investigating a cold case, they are looking through your photos, showing them to friends in barely disguised desperation, and inquiring about the status of your relationship with a hunger that smacks of regret and a growing realization of what they have lost. This individual believed they could exchange you for a less expensive model, someone who would be simpler to manage, who wouldn't push them to step outside of their comfort zone or expect perfection from their character. However, every new relationship they've tried since has made you feel like you're settling for fast food after years of great dining, or that you're attempting to find contentment in imitation designer items after having a taste of real luxury. They're learning that your beauty went beyond appearances and was soul deep, emanating from a place of such honest genuineness that no amount of superficial attractiveness can match the depth of connection they had while you were around. The lovely irony here is that you're reaching heights they never thought were possible during your time together, while they're drowning in remorse and frantically trying to comprehend what they've lost. In the most poetic way imaginable, their sorrow is turning into your freedom, and each day they miss you is each day you grow into a better version of yourself than the person they carelessly let run away. The universe has a sense of humor, and is currently making fun of them while giving you enough. The plot gets more complicated, though, since this person isn't just missing you. They're going to do something that will show how desperate they really are. They've been preparing for a big gesture that they think would win you back, writing messages they never send, and driving by locations they know you visit. They are unaware that you have progressed so far outside of their circle that their efforts to bring you back will only serve to emphasize how far you have come. Your colleagues are questioning everything they believed they knew about influence, success, and the unspoken laws of workplace dynamics as a result of the revolution taking place in your professional life. The promotion you've been subtly preparing for isn't just coming. It's being expedited by executives who can't quite explain why they feel the need to promote you, but who have an innate sense that having you in higher positions is advantageous to all parties and somehow boosts the enthusiasm and output of the entire company. Your name has weight that even surprises you, and the senior executives, who have decades of experience assessing people and anticipating potential, are talking about you in boardrooms with mahogany panels. They're seeing something in your personality that goes beyond your resume, something that makes you seem destined for leadership positions that will change whole sectors and rethink what it means to be an effective manager in changing corporate environments. If you send us a super thank you of $20, it is the first grain of blessing that falls on the soil of hope. Over time, it becomes a tree that bears fruit in someone's life. Like scientists examining a revolutionary formula, your younger colleagues are observing your rise with a mix of enthusiasm and confusion, attempting to reverse engineer your strategy. Your success comes from functioning at a frequency that most people cannot access without engaging in the profound spiritual work you've been doing behind the scenes. They are analyzing your communication style, replicating your methods, and duplicating your presentation techniques. But they are missing the essential truth. Since your shift became evident, the department meetings have a distinct vibe. People are more likely to respect your views, ask for your opinion on matters that go beyond your formal duties, and involve you in discussions that were previously just for senior leadership. Just your presence is changing the balance of power in ways that don't feel forced or political, but rather organic and inevitable. However, you haven't yet noticed something more significant that is developing in the corporate world. Outside industry experts have been observing your work, your methodology, and the outcomes you're producing. Because of your reputation, which is starting to precede you in professional circles, where your name is becoming synonymous with innovation and results, headhunters are beginning to circle, not because they are looking for generic talent. Speaking engagements will become more frequent, conference invitations will start rolling in, and consulting offers from companies looking to capitalize on the enthusiasm you bring to your current position will start to come in. You're going to enter a new phase of your career that you were unaware of. You're on the verge of experiencing a climax in your family dynamics that will change the way your relatives view and relate to you for the rest of your life. Every conversation at that family get-together that has been on the plan for months will revolve around your metamorphosis, with older family members attributing your glow to divine favor and younger ones frantically seeking your advice on their own personal troubles and life obstacles. In private conversations, your parents express their pride in your development and the fact that they are seeing the results of prayers they have been praying for years, even though they weren't always certain those prayers were heard. They're witnessing you realize the potential they've always known you had, but weren't totally sure you'd ever realize. Their pride is evident in every encounter they have with friends and extended family, as the child they raised with such hope and intention is finally growing into the adult they imagined you could be. The relatives who once viewed you as the family member who was still figuring things out now treat you with an almost reverent level of respect. They are asking for your opinions on important life decisions, asking for your counsel on anything from professional choices to relationship difficulties, and include you in discussions that were previously exclusive for the successful relatives who had already made it by traditional standards. The senior whose consent has usually been most important in family dynamics, the patriarch or matriarch, is undergoing the biggest change. They're viewing you differently, seeing something in your development that makes them think of their own path to success, and they're starting to paint you as someone who will continue the family's tradition of success and influence. Your social circle is completely changing, and it's happening so naturally and organically that you might not even realize how big of a change it is until you look back months later and see that the people in your life are completely different from those who were in it only a short while ago. Because your increased frequency is naturally repelling energies that don't match your new vibration. The people who used to drain your energy are finding it harder and harder to stay in your presence. This isn't because you're intentionally pushing them away. Meanwhile, like iron filings to a strong magnet, excellent people are being pulled into your orbit. And these aren't just acquaintances or superficial connections who want to gain something from your company. These are people who can match your energy and elevation, who see you as the unique individual you are, who understand your frequency on a soul level, and who approach you with goals that go far beyond networking opportunities or casual attraction. The network you're establishing through these natural connections will lead to opportunities that are unavailable to others who operate at lower frequencies. opening doors you haven't even considered yet. These individuals are more than just trophy-collecting admirers. They are potential commercial partners, creative allies, lifetime friends, and collaborators who will help you expand your impact in ways that will beyond even your most hopeful predictions. If your heart is moved to give $50, that love carries the good news to the world that God says, it is a greater joy to give than to receive. The quality of the invitations you're getting has also changed. You're being invited to exclusive events, small dinner parties with powerful people, weekend retreats with thought leaders, and joint ventures with creators and entrepreneurs who function at levels you previously only saw from a distance, in place of informal hangouts and simple social gatherings. The individuals in your new network aren't merely successful in the traditional sense. Rather, they are living from a mindset that views success as more than just accumulating wealth. They are dedicated to using their influence to make the world a better place. They appreciate sincerity, and they understand energy. Your promotion has brought you closer to your true peer group, the individuals who were always destined to be your partners and collaborators. Your current situation is merely the outward expression of a spiritual awakening that has been building up for months or even years beneath the surface. Much like a volcano getting ready to change the landscape, this breakthrough moment is now becoming apparent to everyone around you in ways they can feel, but not always express. Thanks to every meditation practice, introspective moment, and choice to prioritize growth over comfort, your ability to manage situations with a wisdom that seems almost supernatural to outside observers who are unaware of the spiritual work you've been doing is a result of your intuition becoming laser-sharp. You're acting from a level of inner knowing that goes beyond rational analysis and taps into universal knowledge, which is why you're making decisions that appear dangerous to others but feel completely certain to you. Every individual who comes into contact with your energy field is being impacted by the ripple effect of your spiritual development. After speaking with you, people are feeling enigmatically inspired, more aware of their own potential, and more inclined to take chances and follow their aspirations. By embracing your own power and refusing to dim your light for the comfort of others, you are becoming a walking catalyst for transformation, causing awakenings in others. Let's not mince words, though. The truth is still a mystery. It has been perverted and buried beneath fear, algorithms, and censorship. But because you felt the simulation glitch beneath your feet, your heart never stopped identifying what's genuine, which is why you're still here and haven't tapped out. You're done waiting for approval to ascend since you know that this world is crooked. The inner order of obsidian was fashioned for the dedicated, not for the curious. This is for the full-time selected, the ones who arrive to take charge, the ones who see past appearances and take action regardless. Weekly Zoom calls that break through the clutter are held within. We impart lessons that most people were never supposed to hear. We receive training in spiritual technology and psychic combat tactics that have been suppressed for generations. This is the toolkit for the genuine ones, the ones that cannot be erased, the ones that cannot be controlled. Now is the moment to recall your identity. The description contains the URL. Your true life starts within. Anyone who doesn't know how the universe reacts to coordinated action and raised consciousness would find it unbelievable that your synchronicities have reached such a high frequency in ways that seem to be controlled by invisible hands. The right people are showing up at the right times. Opportunities are showing up at the right times, and resources are coming when you need them. Your relationship with divine guidance has become so strong that you are now getting clear guidance regarding your life's mission, your future steps, and your place in the greater scheme of human progress and consciousness expansion. You may be sure of your chosen status and the significance of your mission, since the universe is communicating with you through signs, symbols, and direct knowing. However, the spiritual acceleration isn't only about elevating yourself. It's also about getting you ready for a degree of influence and service that will impact thousands, if not millions, of people. The cosmos wouldn't make such a large investment in someone's metamorphosis without anticipating substantial benefits in the form of elevated consciousness. When you give $100, not only we bear witness, but the sky bears witness. You are now one of those who are a bridge to heaven. Your existing perception of what is feasible in your work will be tested by the influx of business chances that are about to overwhelm you, and you will be forced to broaden your perspective on your own potential. In addition to your expertise and skill set, people are taking notice of the unquantifiable enthusiasm you bring to every project, meeting, and team effort that somehow improves everything and produces outcomes that surpass everyone's expectations. The media exposure you're starting to receive isn't the shallow celebrity culture clamor that so many people are engrossed in. Rather, it's genuine acknowledgement of your knowledge, your viewpoint, and your capacity to motivate others to realize their full potential. Documentary filmmakers are starting to show interest in your tale and your message. Podcasts are sending out invitations, and publications are starting to solicit interviews. That old acquaintance of yours who has been observing your change with increasing fixation and remorse is about to lose it and be forced to face the seriousness of their error in ways they have been avoiding. They've been attempting to persuade themselves that they made the right decision and that the person they're currently seeing is somehow more suitable for them. But the evidence of your development is making it impossible to sustain that narrative without engaging in significant self-deception. For weeks, they have been writing and deleting messages, driving by your neighborhood in the hopes of catching a glimpse of you, asking casual questions that aren't really casual, and gathering the courage for a big gesture that they think will somehow close the gap between who they were when they knew you and who you've become since they left. They will try to re-enter your life with a mix of remorse, explanation, and proposal, demonstrating how deeply they have been impacted by seeing your rise from afar. The desperation in their energy is building to a crescendo. Their strategy will be a master lesson in regret, an acknowledgement that losing someone who functions at your level of authenticity and power can leave a gap that cannot be filled by any amount of outside success, new connections, or relocation. Every exceptional people who has been drawn to you over the past few months is set to actively participate in your ongoing ascent, generating a network effect that will greatly increase your influence beyond what you could accomplish on your own. They are becoming into advocates, connectors, and collaborators who perceive your success as linked to their own development and accomplishment rather than only being passive admirers accumulating association points. These relationships are creating a network of influence that will quicken your path in ways that are so synchronistic and well-timed that they almost appear supernatural. They are producing possibilities that arise from the junction of many people's networks and resources, making introductions that seem divinely arranged, and opening doors before you even realize they exist. As projects, opportunities, and ventures that capitalize on the combined resources and influence of everyone who has been drawn to your increased frequency start to take shape, the network's collective strength will become clear. You're becoming the focal point of a network of conscious leaders who are dedicated to fostering one another's greatest expression and most influential work, not merely expanding your contact list. Premium opportunities that aren't publicly publicized will be the source of the referrals that begin to flow via this network. Jobs filled by recommendations rather than applications, and partnerships that arise from the realization of a shared vision rather than through competitive bidding procedures. The upcoming family reunion will be a public announcement of your change, with family members who have known you your entire life attesting to the extent of your development and formally recognizing your new position in the family hierarchy. They will celebrate the realization of potential they always believed existed, but weren't sure you'd ever completely claim, in addition to recognizing your success. Your metamorphosis will spark discussions that reverberate throughout your extended family for months to come, with siblings considering their own growth potential, parents using your story as evidence that their investment in your development was warranted, and cousins using your example in their own decision-making. Family dynamics will permanently change as a result of the respect and appreciation you will acquire from members who once thought of you as just another relative. They will recognize that you have become someone whose achievement increases the sense of possibilities and pride of the entire family. You're turning into the family success story and the embodiment of what may happen when someone is totally dedicated to their development and doesn't accept restrictions. You're about to have a realization that will solidify everything you've become and everything you're meant to do when these narratives come together like tributaries into a powerful river. The conversations that have been going on, the opportunities that have been presented, and the jaws that have been dropping are all leading up to a crescendo of recognition that will make you unquestionably, irreplaceably brilliant. Your metamorphosis will ultimately make the X realize that they lost more than just a love partner. They also lost access to a frequency of existence that improved their entire life and made them greater than they ever thought they could be. Colleagues who have been following your career growth will understand they are seeing the rise of a leader who will change the definition of success and industry norms. The family members who have been celebrating your growth will realize that they are linked to someone whose influence touches thousands of people outside of their own family circles. Your personal recognition, however, will be the most powerful. When you look in the mirror, you'll see not just someone who has undergone a remarkable metamorphosis, but also someone who has fully embraced their role as a chosen one, claiming their divine inheritance and elevating everyone around them and raising human consciousness in the process. Everyone who has eyes to see and consciousness to recognize excellence when it's there in front of them can now see the results on the investment the universe made in your transformation. Your glow is about who you've become, not just how you seem. And you are unquestionably, irreplaceably magnificent in who you have become. Chosen one. The astonishments that greeted you at the start of this trip were merely the first notes of a symphony of realization that will follow you throughout your life, building to a legacy that encourages others to embrace their own divine potential and embark on their own amazing metamorphosis. Every individual you have an impact on, every door that opens as a result of your presence, and every opportunity that arises as a result of your raised frequency are all indications that you are functioning at a level that most people can only imagine reaching. You're not only changing yourself, you're exemplifying what can happen when someone fully embraces their divine nature and boldly enters their destined greatness. This will have a lasting impact on lives you won't be aware of and inspire changes you won't witness. But they will be directly related to the bravery you displayed in asserting your power and refusing to settle for anything less than your greatest potential. A gift of $30 is a contemporary echo of Christ's compassion in feeding the hungry. The more you give, the more God multiplies. The momentum you have accumulated is about to reach a tipping point that will propel your influence into previously unimaginable heights. Major brands are taking notice of your naturally developing social media following because they understand that your audience is not just sizable, but also highly engaged, demonstrating real trust and a genuine connection. Marketing execs are examining your content to see how you managed to generate such passionate engagement without resorting to the usual influencer strategies of fabricated controversy or shallow material. However, the capacity to remain authentic while gaining enormous influence is what the corporate world finds most fascinating. Businesses are contacting you for consulting opportunities where they can gain insight from your approach to real relationship development and authentic communication, in addition to endorsement arrangements. They are realizing that your approach embodies the future of influence and marketing, where engagement is driven by integrity and consciousness rather than deceit and manufactured scarcity. You will establish yourself as an authority on change, authenticity, and conscious living as a result of the book deals that are approaching you. Publishers are realizing that your narrative is not just a source of personal inspiration, but also a model for the kind of change that millions of people are yearning for in their own lives. Your story appeals to both general audiences and those on conscious awakening journeys because it blends spiritual depth with practical transformation. What you're creating now goes well beyond individual accomplishment or success. You are creating the groundwork for a legacy that will have an impact on future generations. The young people witnessing your journey are starting to see that divine favor is a response to coordinated action rather than frantic pleas, that transformation is achievable at any stage of life, and that authenticity is more potent than perfection. By setting a new standard for success in a changing world, you are demonstrating to others that they don't have to choose between material wealth and spiritual growth, between genuine expression and career success, or between happiness and making a positive difference. You're demonstrating that achievement and mindfulness are not only compatible, but also work in concert to provide long-lasting prosperity and true fulfillment. You will be able to direct your expanding resources and influence toward issues that are very important to you thanks to the charitable opportunities that are starting to arise. However, these won't be your usual charity scenarios where you send checks and go to galas. Rather, they will include active participation in causes that share your values and make the most of your special talents. If you give a thank you gift of $75, it will be the first drop of rain that falls right in the center of a thirsty heart. The day of full enlightenment is drawing near, when even the doubters, the skeptics, and those who have been waiting for you to fail will be forced to admit the extent of your change and the veracity of your higher state. This acknowledgement will come from the straightforward, indisputable proof of persistent greatness, consistent character, and ongoing growth that demonstrates your transformation wasn't a passing fad or a lucky streak. It won't come from dramatic confrontation or public vindication. This moment of ultimate affirmation, when your chosen position becomes so obvious that even your erstwhile critics unintentionally become cheerleaders for your brilliance, has been waiting for you in the cosmos. They will find themselves sharing your information with their networks, defending you in discussions, and drawing inspiration from your transformational journey. Through the power of seeing true brilliance in action, your elevation has been so comprehensive and genuine that it turns opponents into allies. Now is your moment, selected one. This is your time to be noticed, influenced, and made a difference. Through your example, your bravery, and your steadfast dedication to being everything the universe intended you to be, you are contributing to a global awakening to the power of real transformation and conscious living, which is just beginning with the jaws dropping.